Statues in Minecraft are a great way to add to any sort of build, be it modern, futuristic, or medieval, or any other style in between, I guess. And I've been super inspired lately to build some. So last week I did just that and built a whole bunch. So we're gonna have a look at them. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm gonna clean up what's behind me because I've been putting this off. I made a mess and I've refused to clean it up, and I'm thinking now it's probably not looking very good for the video, so let me just clean this up real quick. Alright, now with that taken care of, I just want to make clear a little disclaimer before we begin this video. I haven't looked at anyone else's statues videos in a very long time, so there is a possibility that I may accidentally have copied someone's idea. It's slim, but it's there. So if I have, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll give credit where credit is due. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's start at where I started building. These are the first ones I built right here. This is a Goblin King statue. You can see I've made a stone one and a realistic one who's either giving the middle finger or giving the thumbs up. It's all about the eyes of the beholder. You can decide what you want with this one. Obviously a loincloth hiding the not so pleasant undercarriage of this goblin. Looks kind of like the one from the Lord of the Rings series, possibly. That's pretty much it from that. I made a sword out of banners, and that kind of inspired me to make this sword over here, which is just kind of like a little Excalibur-esque sword made from stacked banners. The only problem with stacked banners is if you go too far away, they do disappear. So that's one drawback of the sword, but I really like banners. They help out with proportions, especially with this scale, although looking at them from the behind area isn't as flattering as looking at them from the front, but I think it's a good trade-off. Anyways, moving on. This was originally supposed to be a golden retriever, but I'm not that good at proportions, so it turned into a sheep. It's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Anyone can build this. It's nice, probably like a statue in a farming village you might see this as, so you never know. This statue is not really a statue at all. It's more of an automaton that you can sit and control. But in Minecraft, it's functionally a statue because you can't really do anything with it in Minecraft, so I'm calling it that. This is supposed to be one of those robot things that you find in Fallout New Vegas. You see one right near at the beginning of the game, and a little later on. They have a TV screen here with a face, and they roll around on this big giant wheel, and it's pretty comical. It looks pretty cool. I don't remember what they're called. If you do remember what they're called, tell me in the comments. I'd like to know. Here's another automaton kind of thingy. Didn't really try too hard on this one. I was going to delete it, but then I thought, nah, I'll just keep it, see my thought process, just like all my other showcase videos. This one is one of my favorites because it highlights a feature that I didn't really know about until I started building, and it's the fact that glass panes don't connect to soul sand. Since soul sand isn't a full block, it's kind of like a snow layers, in the fact that you sink down into it a little bit. So that means, I guess, that glass panes don't attach to it, which is nice for when you're trying to build a giant gooey monster with dripping whatever coming off of it in a creepy sort of upside-down-esque, if you've ever watched Stranger Things, way. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I put some quartz ore in here and some dead coral to look like some mangled teeth, so I think it's sufficiently terrifying. This one is, possibly my favorite. I know I said that one was one of my favorites. This one is my favorite because of just the proportions and stuff. It's kind of rare that I nail something down first try, but this was one of them, and I'm really proud of it. I built this by making this little snake thing out of ice and then just kind of experimenting and eyeballing the snow layers and quartz around it until it looked kind of like a hunched dragon. Put a diamond in the middle in there, and it completed it nicely. I could add wings, but I don't want to overcomplicate it, so it's just kind of staying as a little ground creature. This one's a little bit weird because it kind of started out as a horse, and then it turned into a bear, and there's a giant marble here. It was actually a request from a friend, but I guess you could call it kind of a request gone wrong because it doesn't really fulfill anything to do with that request anymore. Originally it was a horse on top of a marble, turned into a bear on top of a marble, and I kept it because I like it, and I think the bear looks pretty cool, actually. Bears are fairly simple to build in Minecraft, actually, I think, because they're quite square. Their proportions aren't that gangly. In Minecraft, it's hard to build gangly things. It's because, I mean, you're working with cubic meters of stuff. It's, you know, you're limited by that, and bears are very chunky, so chunky things work well in Minecraft. Moving on. This is Super Meat Boy. I tried to make him here, and I think it worked out okay. I was just fiddling around with nether wart blocks, and I realized that it looked kind of like what Super Meat Boy looks like, and kind of the whole aesthetic of the game. So I built him a little pedestal using saw blades and magma. This kind of represents the first few levels of the game, and then a few of the later on levels in the game, although I haven't really gotten that far because I suck at it, and it's very frustrating, so I tend not to play it. So yeah, I just tried to represent the aspects of the game in the pedestal, and I think this turned out pretty cool, and it's definitely terrifying, but I'm pretty sure it's recognizable as Super Meat Boy, but let me know if I did a good job. And here I tried to scale it down, and it didn't really work out. This looks just like a very square Kool-Aid person wearing a white t-shirt. With this one, I was feeling a little bit of inspiration from the desert department, so I thought I'd build a camel out of red sandstone, and I think it turned out okay. Now, the rear end of the camel isn't that great. I've tried to experiment with stairs and stuff, but I feel like having full blocks here fits the proportions best from most angles, except the rear. I just kind of had to sacrifice something there for a bit, but I think it looks okay overall. And then here I've got a sort of nomad, which I think turned out pretty okay, actually. Now, I built it on an angle for two reasons. One, so the legs wouldn't be connected together, and two, so I could have the legs close together while having a head nice and centered here, and I think that turned out pretty good in the proportions. Obviously, the arms are a little bit long in comparison to the legs. I mean, they're the same length as the legs, so that's not correct in terms of human proportions, but, you know, this doesn't have to be human. It can be some giant alien or something. You never know, you know, it's always down to the eyes of the beholder. So yeah, that's this one. He's holding a little bit of light source there. Moving on, this one I tried to make sort of as an organic atlas, carrying a giant cobblestone boulder with vines and stuff. I was just experimenting with shapes, and I really like the look of jungle wood, so I thought it would be cool to make it into a little bit of a sculpture, or maybe it's even a living creature that's kind of frozen in position. Or maybe it's mid-movement. I don't know. It's all down to what you think it is. I mean, I guess that's sort of a theme of this video. The eyes of the beholder. Anyways, placing this grass on the head was a simple task of just doing /set block on top of the head and then putting grass. So if I update the block, it's gonna change. But I just did that to make it look like it had a little bit of wispy hair. I think it looks cool. This one is sort of the same sort of thing. I did set block again for the grass. And I wanted to make something with bamboo legs, but the problem is bamboo is quite inconsistent as to where it goes. You can see it's just like grass and flowers. It doesn't always center on the block. So that means statues will be kind of inconsistent, and I tried to embrace that by making this sort of like a little strider looking thing. You know, the striders from Half-Life 2 is like those, I guess. It's nothing humanoid, but it's kind of close. And then I used banners for the arms because I felt like it. That's pretty much it. Alright, and I really like it. It looks kind of like a little cocoon. Maybe even a biological mech. You never know. This one was really fun. This one I tried to make a giant iron golem. A giant two-headed iron golem with fancy glasses and a badass laser, although the laser isn't that badass. So I fulfilled part of my goal, but you know what? That's good enough for me for now. It's just, it's just a big giant mech suit, kind of like the Mark I Iron Man-ish thing. And I tried to stick with a very limited number of materials because I didn't want to over-detail this. I wanted it to retain kind of a cartoonish proportion, and I think that's turned out pretty well, especially with the joints. It looks definitely like an action figure you'd find at Walmart or something. Now, this last one is a little bit special. You see, I created this channel almost a year ago exactly. I posted my first video on March the 1st, and it's nearly then, so this is kind of like a little birthday celebration. It's a black cherry or chocolate Oreo cake, depending on how the video looks. This is nether brick, and nether brick slightly reddish, but I know the color correction on my recording software is a little bit off, so it might come out black. You never know. I haven't looked at it yet. But yeah, this is a little bit of a celebration. Kind of to mark a year's worth of experiences, memories, and builds on this channel. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit of a spastic one. I haven't recorded in about a month, so it's a little bit difficult for me to get back into it, but I hope you enjoyed, and more importantly, I hope you took some kind of inspiration from this to build your own statues in your own worlds. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time, and have a fantastic day. Goodbye. I completely forgot about this little guy at the beginning here. Anyways, here he is. It's a merman, mermaid, I don't care. Mer-person. There we go. With some redstone trapdoors. Anyways, goodbye for real this time.